Yeah, my name is Christopher Blauvelt. I'm a Los Angeles-based DP, and I'm here with the LG OLED crew. It was amazing. I learned a lot. I feel like you guys have really figured out a bunch of things, but one of the big ones was the reflections on the TV screens, on the monitors, being so non-reflective and able to really see into the darkness of the images. That was a huge one. The dynamic tone mapping in professional mode, that was insane. That was really cool. How you can like specifically dial in your monitor at home. Overall, the overall images were amazing because of the perfect black. I think they really help you get detail in the toe of your image, and also preserving the highlights in a great way. That one was really special. That was really interesting because I think as filmmakers and people that have maybe of a more discerning eye for their imagery on their televisions at home, you have now the ability to adjust it so that your highlights can look, you can get them not to clip, and you can see details in very bright things. But I don't know, I really liked seeing that professional mode and dynamic tone mapping. That was impressive. I really liked that feature. I think the biggest strength of the LG OLED as I see it now and what I've just experienced is the dynamic tone mapping and the anti-reflection thing. You guys really nailed that. It's really good. I can't wait to show my crew and my directors I work with. I think that is a step in the right direction. And knowing that you can see it in an imperfect environment. Now, say on a commercial where I have a camp of people that are watching on these monitors in a brightly lit tent or something outside, I can have a little bit more confidence or peace of mind knowing that they're seeing an image in the way we're planning to let this, they're just planning to make it look. Movies I would love to see on the LG OLED are what came to mind, seeing the very rich colors and contrasts and details and shadows and blacks, and the highlights. I would definitely like to see In the Mood for Love, Wong Kar-wai. Then I would like to maybe see Kes, because it's one of my favorite films, Ken Loach's Kes. And another film, maybe it's not a good reference for color because it's black and white, but it's such a good looking film and very contrasty and gorgeous. It's called Ida. That one would be great. Oh, definitely Birth. Jonathan Glazer's Birth, shot by Harris Savides. That movie just looks so amazing on screen, and I've seen it many, many times on my televisions at home, and that one I think would really shine in the LG OLED. I recommend filmmaker mode, and I cringe at the idea that anyone would watch these films in those high refresh rate modes, that like hyper HD. I mean, it makes me physically upset when I see a film that's got such quality and such intent by the filmmakers, and it just feels like it's turned into a soap opera. And that's very frustrating as a filmmaker and someone who, like a lot of other people, have a discerning eye for what the intent was. Like, Scorsese, they're shooting on film and they're very diligent about how they're making it and what they intend for the world to see. And it's not unlike me and my world. So to me, filmmaker mode is genius. I'm glad it exists. I recommend everybody just click that button so that you're watching what was intended by the filmmakers. Todd Haynes is such an amazing director, and he's such a decisive, creative mind. And so I think me, along with all of the keys on our film, we're inundated with music, with images from photography, paintings, and of course films. So we had a lot of inspiration that he gave us even before we showed up. There was a lot of material that we were all able to digest and interpret that into what we were doing. So Todd's so good at informing us about his ideas. And then, of course, when we were there in Savannah together with the production designer and our producers and everyone, we were adapting our environment now to those inspirations to make what we made. Yeah, that's a good question. I think that we embraced the environment, and it was very humid, and the house, for example, was on an Tybee Island, and just like the windows and the screens, everything has this texturized feel to it, and it blended perfectly in with Todd's initial references, which were very like filmic and milky and texturized, and it just worked perfectly within our story as well. Like it was a very good way to integrate those ideas and make this film very texturized and gritty, like the story itself. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that we were always looking out for mirrors and reflections to, as a metaphor, and to enhance our story. It was something that was like, happening in real time, as well as in the through line of our story. And it's Natalie's character is trying to become Julianne's character, Gracie, in this film. So we used that, and Bergman's persona was a big influence on us. And again, that's a story of someone who's trying to become someone else. And so, yeah, we looked when we were scouting and we were lining up shots. We always had our eye out for it. And then there was that one main scene that we had the real justification to have mirrors, which was the dressing area of that dress shop. And so that one was a triptych mirror that took a lot of work and a lot of people to make that happen. That's all departments: production design, art department, camera, grip, electric. And then of course, it can't be a scene as special as that without Elizabeth, Natalie, and Julianne doing what they do within those mirrors. So I'm grateful for the whole team on that one, especially. Yeah, that's a hard question. But I mean, if I can, I'll tell you the story that the reason that I know Todd is through Kelly. They're very good friends. So I met Kelly through Todd and through Gus Van Sant and some other friends of mine. And that's sort of maybe why I was on his radar when I was able to shoot this film. And I think my experience with Kelly only grows to be better and better. I think that now, because we're so tight and we're such good friends, I get the material maybe a year sometimes in advance, or I get the idea and she'll explain it to me. So I have such a head start on all of the influences that go into those movies. But I have to say, if I were to say a favorite, I guess I would pick Meek's Cutoff, because it was my first film with her, and it was just so special being out there. We shot on 35mm film, and that was when we learned how to work together the very first time. And I love the film, and I love the story, and I think it's I would say that's my favorite, but maybe First Cow is a close second. Well, again, I think that Kelly, not unlike Todd or a lot of my directors, they give you a lot of inspiration material, and this was again films and paintings, and it was Frederick Remington paintings were our inspiration material. So in the testing process, we would use these, and we were testing lenses and filters and lighting and all of these things. But I think, I mean, you mentioned how it's very minimal and natural, and part of that is literally logistics of us not having all the resources. So we have to find ways to use within our means to shoot this film within our means. But it's also, it goes along with Kelly's minimalist approach, and the way we shot lists and everything is very purposeful and thoughtful. And so it's not a lot of toys. You don't need a lot of toys to do that. The one major difficulty, and I'd like to say accomplishment, was figuring out the day for night, because a lot of this film is them being chased in the mountains and in the forest at night, and without a lot of resources or lights or cranes, that we don't have. And Kelly really wanted to see the environment. So in my month of prep, we tested very diligently, and again, it was different formulas of lighting and different times of day and different glass and filters, and that, to me, I think we figured that out like the day before we were shooting. We had 2 schedules, and one of them was to shoot night for night, and the other one was to shoot day for night. And we only figured that out maybe right before we were shooting. So to me, that's a big accomplishment, and I love the way that it looks. And we got it to look so good that we were intercutting real night to day for night. So that was a big, that was a huge undertaking, and it took a lot of work and a lot of people to make that happen. I appreciate you guys having me, and it was a wonderful experience seeing the technology, and I love your enthusiasm for it too. So I'm grateful that you guys are appreciating the filmmakers, and yeah, I look forward to seeing, hopefully someday everybody's TVs will have this version so they can watch films in the right way.